Hey YouTube, how's it going today? Got another banger of a video for you. A little bit different than from what I normally make, but this is just something that I've been wanting to make for a while, so here we go. I hope y'all liked the video, and if you do, please leave a like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace. Being optimistic about the Elder Scrolls in 2026 feels like admitting you still believe in freaking Santa Claus, right? The moment you say you're excited, somebody appears out of nowhere in a random internet comment to remind you that Fallout 76, Starfield, and the Creation Engine, loading screen, paid mods, every other crime Bethesda has committed against the gaming community. Just go search up on YouTube Elder Scrolls 6 and you'll find plenty of videos explaining why Bethesda has lost its way, the game will be a complete disaster, and how Todd Howard is preparing to sneak into your house and sell you another copy of Skyrim. And to be fair, some of those videos make genuinely solid points. Todd Howard is preparing right now to sell me another copy of Skyrim. Fallout 76 launched in a broken and buggy state. Starfield had some great ideas, but the execution just wasn't quite there, and instead of wandering naturally through a handcrafted world, you spent most of your time jumping between menus, planets, loading screens, and abandoned facilities that looked exactly the same as the one you explored 2 planets ago. Look, there are legitimate reasons to be concerned about Bethesda's current design philosophy, right? But I also think the negativity surrounding the Elder Scrolls 6 has gone a little bit too far. People are already talking about the game like it failed. We don't have a release date. We've barely seen anything from it. At this point, the trailer they released back in 2018 that literally just shows a mountain has been picked apart more times than you can count. But I haven't given up hope yet, and here's why. Bethesda has made some disappointing decisions. Bethesda has made some controversial games. But since Morrowind, and I say Morrowind because of the Elder Scrolls Redguard, Bethesda has not made a bad Elder Scrolls game. Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim are all very different experiences, right? But every one of them succeeded at creating a world that people wanted to disappear into. Morrowind was strange, complex, and completely unafraid to let the player get lost. It dropped you into a land filled with giant mushrooms, ash storms, living gods, ancient houses, bizarre religious politics, and people calling you an outlander every 5 minutes. There was no glowing trails leading you directly toward every objective, and there was no quest markers above somebody's head. To get directions to a place, you would literally ask somebody and they would tell you to walk east until you found a rock that looked slightly different from the other rocks. Take a right, go up the hill, and find a rock that looks different from the rock you looked at the bottom of the hill.
So this is where Delphin has been hiding all these years.
They say a with his voice warmer and a lot happier with a belly full of
But people loved it. Even hardcore RPG fans of today that have never played Morrowind will play Morrowind and absolutely love it. Oblivion made the series more accessible than ever before, but it still gave us an enormous fantasy world filled with memorable quests and characters. The Dark Brotherhood questline is still one of Bethesda's greatest questlines ever made. The Shivering Isle expansion was incredible. Every city had its own character, and guards had supernatural abilities to detect a stolen item from 3 houses away. Obviously, it had its flaws, Every conversation looked like somebody had suddenly pressed their face against a security camera. But underneath the awkward character models and occasionally questionable, samey voice acting, Oblivion did have its charm. Skyrim simplified many of the role playing systems from the previous games, and that is a completely fair criticism to have of Skyrim. But it also created one of the most successful and influential open world games ever made. Skyrim became a cultural event. People who had no interest in role playing games, or even video games for that matter, were interested in Skyrim. The music was amazing, the open world was awesome, and it gave your character, freedom to go and do whatever you wanted. Like walking around at night in Skyrim, just exploring the open world with Secunda playing in the background and looking up and seeing the northern lights. Like it's an experience, guys. Like there's nothing that I've played that has replicated the feeling I get when that happens. Yes, Bethesda has re-released Skyrim approximately 70 times. Yes, they tried to release it on a Samsung fridge. Skyrim has probably been released on platforms that have not even been invented yet. Somewhere inside Bethesda right now, there is probably already a version prepared for the first Xbox 780 or Xbox 9000. But people keep buying it because the foundation is good, because the game is awesome, and there really truly has not been a game since Skyrim came out like Skyrim. Look, Bethesda's greatest strength has never been the best, most fun combat system. It's never been the best writing, and it definitely hasn't been releasing games without game breaking bugs on launch. Bethesda's greatest strength has been creating worlds where players can form their own stories. Do you remember the first time you entered Blackreach? Just the feeling of where am I? Or stumbling upon a Daedric quest, your first time going to Markarth and ending up in a haunted house. Or being attacked by a dragon, two bears, a giant, and a group of bandits at the exact same time. And them all fighting each other to decide who gets to fight you. Or the feeling when you kill your first dragon over the Western Watchtower, and after the fight, you absorb its soul, and the guards just stand there, just baffled, right? I still looking back on it, like it gave me goosebumps the first time I played it. Or when you actually get to go kill the Emperor of Tamriel, and when you sneak aboard his ship, kill his guards, and get into his room, you come to realize that, like, yo, he's actually kind of chill. And he just accepts his fate and just asked you to kill the guy who hired you to kill him. And I do it every single time. It's a tradition at this point. These are the moments that Bethesda is good at creating, and these moments are what keep people coming back to this world. Starfield wasn't a very ambitious game, but the scale at which they made the game and put the content out, it just worked against the game. Space is enormous, and that sounds exciting until you realize most of it is empty. The Elder Scrolls doesn't need 1,000 planets. It doesn't need endless procedural generation. It just needs one carefully crafted province. It needs cities with history and culture. It needs roads that lead somewhere interesting. It needs ancient ruins hidden behind waterfalls. It needs mountain passes, villages, castles, temples, caves, and forests that feel like they belong in the world. Bethesda has always performed better when its worlds are dense rather than just simply large and expansive. Bethesda has always done better at games like that. And it's also why I believe that The Elder Scrolls 6 has a much stronger foundation than Starfield ever did. They don't have to reinvent exploration. They just have to remember what made the world so enjoyable in the first place. Let players choose a direction, put something interesting on the horizon, and reward them for going there. It sounds simple, but it's the core formula of Bethesda. At the same time, I don't want Bethesda to simply make Skyrim again with better graphics. The role playing genre has moved forward since then. We've seen games like The Witcher 3, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, and KCD2 raise expectations in different ways. Games like KCD made me wish that Skyrim had those deeper role playing aspects in the game. That game makes you feel like you are a character who belongs in that world. What you wear matters, who you are matters, what you do matters. Your skills have to be practiced. Choices affect how others treat you. You cannot become a master of everything after spending one afternoon completing errands for strangers. I would love to see Bethesda lean further into those ideas. I want factions to have standards. If I want to join a respected magical institution, then it would probably be helpful if I learn more than one fire spell and become the Archmage. I want guild progression to feel earned and rival factions to react to each other. If I become a famous assassin, maybe I shouldn't be let into the Companions Guild, and that's fine. That can be on another playthrough. If I help one political faction, the others should remember it and treat me with more hostility. If I become a legendary hero of the land, people should treat me differently. Skyrim would occasionally produce hilarious situations where somebody would watch you kill a dragon, absorb its soul, and then immediately ask you if somebody stole your sweet roll. The world should react more meaningfully to what the player does. Race and background should matter as well. Different cultures in Tamriel have long histories, allegiances, and grudges. An orc, a Breton, a Redguard, and a High Elf should not experience every conversation in exactly the same way. I'm not asking Bethesda to create an entirely different campaign for every possible character. A few unique dialogue choices here, different reactions there, and meaningful advantages or disadvantages would make the character creation feel far more important. Now, do I genuinely expect Bethesda to transform the Elder Scrolls into a hardcore medieval life simulator? No, they're not going to do that. That's not the kind of games they make, and I don't expect them to do that. Bethesda doesn't need to copy The Witcher 3, Kingdom Come, or Baldur's Gate. It needs to learn from them. Give us stronger consequences, give us more meaningful character progression, give us better faction relationships, and give us a world that notices what we've done. Even modest improvements in those areas could make Elder Scrolls 6 a significantly better role playing game without sacrificing the freedom that made Skyrim so popular in the first place. Like, Bethesda's not deaf to the criticism they've received over the years. They know how people reacted to Fallout 76. They know what players disliked about Starfield. They know fans are worried about procedural generation, shallow dialogue, repetitive content, and simplified role playing systems. Whether they respond correctly to that criticism is another question, but the criticism's not a secret. They hear the criticism. They understand the Elder Scrolls 6 cannot feel like just any other game release. This is the sequel to Skyrim. The expectations are unfairly high. Millions of people have been waiting over a decade for this game. I was 11 years old when Skyrim released. I had homework. I was worried about school. I thought staying awake late was an act of rebellion to my parents. Since then, I've finished school, started a career, changed job, paid bills, bought a car, dealt with adult responsibilities, and watched Skyrim release several more times. My entire adult life up until this point has happened between Elder Scrolls games. By the time Elder Scrolls 6 actually launches, I'm going to need to schedule adventures to the doctors. And waiting this long has created impossible expectations. No game can perfectly satisfy everything people have imagined over 15 years. Some fans want the depth of Morrowind, others want Oblivion's quest design, some want Skyrim's exploration, some want the immersion you get from a game like KCD, and some want Baldur's Gate's depth and choices. And at least one person somewhere wants another settlement that needs our help. Bethesda cannot make the perfect game for everyone, but it can still make a great Elder Scrolls game. And that is where I think the conversation needs more balance. We should be skeptical. We should criticize Bethesda when criticism is deserved. We should demand better writing, stronger role playing systems, improved technology, and a polished release. Optimism does not mean pretending Bethesda has never made mistakes. It means acknowledging those mistakes without assuming failure is guaranteed. Bethesda's recent record is mixed. Its Elder Scrolls record is not. Every mainline Elder Scrolls game since Morrowind has earned a lasting audience. Every one of them has created memorable characters, quests, locations. Every one of them has given players a world they continued exploring long after completing the main quest. Until Bethesda proves otherwise, I think that history has earned them the benefit of the doubt in terms of Elder Scrolls games. Not blind loyalty, not unlimited excuses, just a chance to be hopeful that the Elder Scrolls 6 won't be a flaming dumpster when it releases. Maybe the Elder Scrolls 6 won't completely redefine the RPG gaming genre as we know it. Maybe it won't match the version that we've built in our heads for the past 15 years. Maybe it will launch with bugs. Actually, let's be real. It will most definitely launch with bugs. Somebody's head will rotate in a direction that makes your neck hurt when you see it happen. But if Bethesda can create another handcrafted world filled with history, culture, mystery, and uniqueness, I will be there. I've been waiting for this game since I was 11 years old. I've waited far too long to give into the endless hate that I see on YouTube about the Elder Scrolls 6. We haven't even seen gameplay of it yet. So I will choose to remain optimistic about the future of Bethesda and the future of the Elder Scrolls 6. Maybe foolishly optimistic, but optimistic nonetheless. And Todd, please, please get this game released this decade. I really don't want to make the same video again when I'm 40. But anyways, I hope you guys liked today's video. I know it's a little different from what I normally do, but I just wanted to get up here and speak about my optimism towards the Elder Scrolls 6. So if you liked the video today, guys, please leave a like, subscribe, share it with a friend. That would greatly help out my channel. And I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out, guys. Bye.
Black pencil, green pencil, big banana pencil. Chamba machamba, chamba huyamba, merima, minete.